I never thought I'd be the guy writing a story like this. You always hear about it happening to someone else, a friend of a friend, a guy you follow on Twitter, a horror story passed around in online forums. But when it happens to you, it doesn't feel real. At least, not at first. I guess I should start with the basics. My name's Adam, and I've been dating Emily for 3 years. We met in college, both fresh-faced and idealistic, believing in forever like it was some kind of guarantee. She was beautiful in a way that made you nervous to look at her for too long, but she was never vain about it. She had this laugh that could make even the grumpiest person crack a smile, and when she was passionate about something, her whole face lit up. I loved her. God, I loved her. We moved in together right after graduation, renting a cozy apartment in a quiet neighborhood. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other just well enough to be friendly, but not so well that it felt intrusive. That's where I met Ryan. Ryan lived next door. He was a little older than me, maybe by 3 or 4 years, but he carried himself like a guy who'd seen some things. Handsome in that effortless way, with a confidence that sometimes felt a little too easy. He was always around, always offering to help with something or cracking jokes that made Emily laugh just a little too hard. But I trusted her. I trusted them both. The first time I felt something was off was about 6 months ago. Emily had started acting different. It wasn't a big, dramatic shift, but I knew her well enough to notice. She was distracted, always on her phone, always busy. Date nights became rare, and even when we were together, she seemed miles away. I chalked it up to stress. She'd started a new job, after all. I figured she just needed time to adjust. Then came the nights out. At first, it was a girls' night here and there, nothing unusual, but they became more frequent. She'd come home late, sometimes tipsy, sometimes completely sober but distant. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and find her scrolling through her phone, her face lit up by the glow of the screen. She'd say she couldn't sleep. I believed her. The real gut punch came one Friday evening. I had planned a surprise date night, dinner, wine, the works. But when I told Emily, she hesitated. I actually already have plans with Sophie, she said, avoiding my eyes. Sophie was her best friend, so I didn't push. But something didn't sit right. Call it intuition or paranoia. But for the first time in our relationship, I felt the weight of doubt settle in my chest. I didn't want to be that guy, the jealous, insecure boyfriend who checked up on his girl. But something inside me told me that if I didn't look, I'd regret it. So I did something I never thought I would. I checked her location on her phone. It was a feature we had set up ages ago, mostly for safety. She didn't know I still had access. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. She wasn't at Sophie's. She was at Ryan's. I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity, my heart hammering in my chest. There had to be an explanation, right? Maybe Sophie had gone there, too. Maybe it was something innocent. But deep down, I already knew. The cracks weren't just forming. They were shattering. That night, I didn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, waiting for her to come home. When she finally did, she smelled like his cologne. And that's when I knew my life was about to fall apart. The days blurred together, but the feeling in my gut never faded. Every time Olivia smiled at me, every time she touched my arm, every time she kissed me goodnight, I wondered if she was thinking of him. I wondered if she had just come from his house, from his bed. The worst part was how easy it had been for her to lie. She wasn't just good at it. She was effortless. There was no hesitation in her voice, no cracks in her story. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have believed her. I thought about that a lot. How many times had she lied before? How many times had she told me she was going out with friends when she was really next door? How many times had I been the fool, sitting at home, thinking I was in a committed relationship while she was sneaking through his back door like some pathetic cliche? But I didn't let on that I knew. I played my part, smiled in all the right places, pretended I was the same guy she had fooled before. It made her comfortable, and that's exactly what I needed. One night, she curled up next to me on the couch, legs tucked under a blanket, scrolling through her phone like she didn't have a care in the world. I glanced over, watching her face, wondering if she was texting him right then and there, lying to me in real time. I could have snatched the phone from her hands. I could have cornered her, demanded answers, forced her to admit what she had done. But I didn't want her to just confess. I wanted to watch her world burn the way she had burned mine. So I just smiled. "Everything okay?" she asked, locking her phone and setting it aside. "Yeah," I said, "just thinking about how lucky I am." She beamed, then leaned in and kissed me, and I kissed her back. She had no idea. The next morning, I left for work as usual. Or at least, that's what she thought. Instead, I parked a few streets away and walked back, sticking to the side roads where no one would see me. I found a spot where I could see Josh's house but still stay hidden. And then I waited. The minutes dragged on. Then, just after noon, Olivia's car pulled into his driveway. I felt something inside me harden. She sat in the car for a few seconds, looking around, making sure no one was watching. Then she got out, hurried up to his front door, and slipped inside without knocking, like she'd done it 100 times before. I pulled out my phone and started recording. This wasn't just about catching her anymore. This was about control, about making sure she couldn't weasel her way out of it, couldn't twist the story into something that made her look innocent. I filmed long enough to prove she was there, then stopped. That was enough. For now. I walked back to my car, my mind racing. I had proof. I could confront her tonight, throw the video in her face, watch her scramble for an excuse. But no, that wasn't enough. She needed to feel it. The paranoia, the uncertainty, the weight of knowing something was off, but not being able to prove it. So I went home and waited. That evening, she walked through the door like nothing had happened, setting her bag down with a tired sigh. "Hey," she said, kissing my cheek. "How was your day?" I smiled. "Uneventful." "You?" "Oh, same old." She stretched her arms over her head, then headed toward the kitchen. "I was thinking we could order in tonight. Maybe Thai. Casual. Relaxed. No sign of guilt." She had spent the afternoon with another man, and here she was asking me if I wanted Thai food. It made me sick. I watched her, wondering how long she would keep this up. Would she have kept it going for months? Years? Would she have married me, had kids with me, all while sneaking off to be with him? I clenched my jaw, then forced myself to relax. Not yet. That night, while she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling, thinking, there were so many ways I could do this. I could be cruel, drag it out, let her believe everything was fine before shattering her world. I could be direct, confront her with the video, watch the horror spread across her face. But that wasn't enough. She needed to suffer. I needed to make sure she felt every ounce of betrayal that I did. And I knew exactly how to do it. That night, as Olivia slept peacefully beside me, I finalized my plan. Confronting her outright wouldn't be enough. I needed her to feel trapped, to watch everything she thought she had under control slip through her fingers. I needed her to experience the slow unraveling of trust, just as I had. The next morning, I was careful, calm, affectionate, normal. I kissed her before leaving for work, told her I loved her, and watched her smile like she wasn't living a lie. But I didn't go to work. Instead, I met with a lawyer. I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to make sure she had nothing left. Over the next few days, I gathered everything I needed: bank statements, shared lease agreements, records of her texts and calls, thankfully backed up to our cloud account, and, of course, the video I had taken. I didn't just want to break up with her. I wanted to dismantle her world. Then, I reached out to Ryan's girlfriend. I had debated whether to involve her, but in the end, I knew she deserved to know. If Olivia and Ryan thought they could sneak around unnoticed, they were wrong. I sent her everything: the location logs, the messages, the video. Her response was immediate. Shock, betrayal, anger. We made a plan. That Friday night, Olivia and I had dinner reservations. Her idea, a way to reconnect. I played along, let her think everything was fine. We got dressed up, shared a bottle of wine, and pretended like we were just another happy couple. And then, at exactly 8:30 p.m., Ryan's girlfriend walked in. The moment Olivia saw her, I felt her stiffen. Her smile faltered, and she glanced at me, searching for some kind of reassurance. But I just sat back, sipping my wine, waiting for the explosion. Ryan's girlfriend didn't waste time. She marched straight to our table and dropped a manila envelope in front of Olivia. "Go ahead," she said, voice cold. "Open it." Olivia hesitated. Her hands trembled as she reached for the envelope, flipping it open to reveal the printed screenshots, the location logs, the video. Her breath hitched. She looked at me, then back at the evidence, her face draining of color. Adam. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table. Don't. Just don't. She blinked rapidly, like she was trying to hold back tears. I can explain. Ryan's girlfriend laughed bitterly. Yeah? So can Ryan. Let's go see what he has to say, shall we? Olivia's mouth opened, then closed. Her eyes darted around the restaurant, realizing that people were starting to stare. I stood up, tossing a few bills onto the table. You know, Olivia, I used to think I was lucky to have you. Turns out I was just blind. And with that, I walked out, leaving her there, trapped, exposed, unraveling. I don't know what happened after that. I don't really care. By the time she got home that night, I was gone. My things were packed. My name was off the lease. My accounts were separated. I left behind only the envelope she had opened at dinner, lying on the kitchen counter like a final goodbye. She called. She texted. She begged me to talk. But I never responded. Because the truth is, she wasn't worth another second of my time. And for the first time in months, I felt free.